Once again, this trial, I don't know how it's going to go, but I know it's done got crazy. The things that is allegedly happening, the things that's being said to allegedly be going on, the narrative and the pictures that could be being painted, I don't know what to believe anymore. I really don't. I was just talking to y'all about Diddy Glover's mistrial, his trial being denied. Now there's a narrative out there that juror number 6, one of the members of the jury, they're trying to remove this juror, and I heard it was a brother during survival. Heard it was a brother. They supposed to be allegedly trying to get rid of him because allegedly Diddy Glover somehow found a way to pay this man off. So I do not know what to believe, but I'm bringing it to y'all. Smash that like button. That's all I need y'all to do. And tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think somehow Diddy was able to make contact with one of the jurors? Because they're saying when he was about to get kicked out of the courtroom for staring at the jury, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Diddy gave him a look like, I'm going to pay you handsomely. Just, pretend that I'm not guilty. I don't know what to believe, y'all. So I'm gonna wait for y'all to come in the building and tell me what do y'all believe, cause y'all gonna hear this narrative out there. You're gonna hear it that there is a juror that's being removed allegedly from Diddy's trial because he feels like people are lying on Diddy Glover. Pure survival. Shout out to the Plug Podcast by Cross Your Heart. Pure survival. Broham in the building first. They removing jurors now, dog. Like they are moving a jury. Somehow, allegedly, Diddy's supposed to be paying this dude to say that he believes he's not guilty. I don't know whether I want to believe that story or not. I do not know. But there's a narrative that's out there that, well, we know Diddy had power and money, and he was able to pay cops off, allegedly. He was able to pay these girls rent and keep people quiet for all this long. So maybe he got this juror siding with him for some reason. This is what they're saying now. There's a juror being removed. That's why I say this case is huge right now. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is torn in between. People don't know whether he's guilty of sex trafficking or what or is this like some kind of takedown. You know what I'm saying? People don't know what to believe. Cause I thought that this would have been an easy, no-brainer trial. So now there's supposed to be jurors helping Diddy Glover out, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Is the trial going that bad to me? Like, is the witnesses or the alleged victims looking that terrible that they're going to say, oh, now there's a juror helping Diddy Glover out? Or does Diddy Glover have connections with the jury? I'm going to let y'all decide. I don't know. I admitted to y'all I don't see the victims in these females per survival. And now they're removing somebody from this whole trial. And then allegedly they saying that the juror number 6 was watching the internet, was watching YouTube or things. You know how the juror is supposed to go home and not even tell their loved ones about Diddy's trial. So I guess they're going to say that the juror was doing something illegal to get removed, but allegedly Diddy paid him off. I
Trial of
don't know
Sean
what
and
the
Diddy
hell
Combs.
to
I'm not
believe.
alone. I'm here with Elizabeth Milner, Long Crimes in Court reporter, who's been there for every moment of the action through all the testimony of Jane today being cross-examined by the defense. Elizabeth, so good to see you. To start it off, let me give you a great comment. We got a viewer question from Sam. I just want you to know I've been watching every day from Oxford, England, 5:30 p.m. my time. I'm glued to these updates, and Elizabeth is absolutely beautiful inside and out. Elizabeth, you get so much love on here from our viewers, so always good to see.
Okay, so that's Elizabeth getting love. Elizabeth has been in the trial. I've seen this girl at the courthouse, Pure Survival. She's been down there working, blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I'm saying? But do y'all put a one in the chat if y'all think Diddy somehow was able to pay a juror off? Or put a two in the chat if y'all think that that's an excuse that they're making because it's looking like a mistrial is coming. And now they're trying to figure out because they saying the government is like, no, we don't want this juror number 6 up there. We don't. Because my thing is, if Diddy's able to pay the jury off, how did he get a chance to do that from the jail? I'm not saying it's not possible because he does have the money. I just don't know how because they stopped him in court, him making phone calls. Remember that when he was making illegal phone calls and different stuff like that? How is he being able to sneak around and do this shit during the trial? That's my only thing. If he didn't know who the juror was going to be, how did he make the move to be able to do this while in this situation?
Moved about what is going on in the courtroom today. What is actually going on? That's
Oh,
my question.
hold on. There we go.
Everything that happened, but I got to get to these viewer questions. I'm going to list 3 because they're basically the same question. This is from L. Spelunker. This is a question for Elizabeth. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation, jurors and people being removed about what is going on in the courtroom today. What is actually going on? That's my question. Another question from Anne. Is it true about a juror being asked to leave? If so, did it cause a delay in the court?
Now, do y'all hear that? Is it true that a juror was asked to be removed? Salute to my baby in the building, Pure Survival. Listen, they are now removing one of the jurors, and it's a narrative that's being painted. That's why I said allegedly Diddy's supposed to have been paying juror number 6. I just did a live. I just did a live already talking about how Diddy got his mistrial was denied, which I knew it was going to happen, pure survival. And they got Jane Doe up there talking about her and Diddy would role play. She would pretend that Diddy was going out of town, and the sex worker, she would be talking all nasty to him. Yeah, come get me. Diddy's not here. Pee all in my face. Put the baby oil on my thighs. Pure survival. All these things that they chose to do voluntarily. Cross-examination to me is tearing that girl up. So that's why I want to ask y'all, how do y'all feel that they're removing a juror now and they're claiming because it's looking like a mistrial or it's looking like these people are lying. So now they want to say that this juror is siding with Diddy Glover. At the time that Diddy Glover was moving his neck around and he was about to get kicked out the courtroom for staring at the jury, allegedly, pure survival, somehow Diddy Glover's freak off eyeballs made this juror say, I think that he's not guilty. So now the government is like, get rid of that juror at once, pure survival. And then the juror happened to be a black dude. It's a black dude. They like, get that nigga out of here. Pure survival. We starting to think that this dude may think that Diddy is innocent because this girl is up there saying, I love Diddy. And in the cross-examination, she said, as I sit here and snitch on Diddy Glover, I am in love with him. How you gonna tell me you in love with me and you're telling on me right in front of my face? Pure survival. Well, I'm paying $10,000 a month for you. But yes, they done kicked out a juror and they stopped court. Court stopped today at I think 3 o'clock. Or 4 o'clock. It ends early because they gotta. The government wants this juror off by tomorrow. They're going to decide if the judge is going to kick the juror off.
And out. Elizabeth, you get so much love on here from our viewers, so always good to see. I do have a lot of questions for you from viewers. Usually I ask you to tell us everything that happened, but I got to get to these viewer questions. I'm going to list three because they're basically the same question. This is from L. Spelunker. This is a question for Elizabeth. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation, jurors and people being removed, about what is going on in the courtroom today. What is actually going on? That's my question. Another question from Anne. Is it true about a juror being asked to leave? If so, did it cause a delay in the court? And then Show and Tell Knitting asks, what's the issue with juror number 6? So they're kind of related questions. What can you tell us?
What can she tell us about juror number 6? Now, this same juror number 6 been in the trial all this time. So how all of a sudden now they want to remove juror number 6 and say that he was doing something illegal?
All pertaining to the same issue. So it kind of first started yesterday, and that's when the judge had ordered kind of the lead counsel on both sides, both the prosecution and the defense, to kind of have a conversation with him inside the judge's chamber. But what was interesting is that this particular conversation wasn't even in the transcripts. It was under seal, and we learned...
Now, y'all see this? This was under sealed. So she's saying yesterday, the judge, juror number 6, must be on Diddy's payroll. See, listen, and that's what you saying, and that's what the alleged rumor is. And I'm gonna tell you something right now, sweetheart. I don't believe that this juror is on Diddy Glover's payroll, because this means that if anybody find these girls to be liars, they're gonna say, well, they were paid by Diddy. So basically, am I being paid by Diddy or anybody else that feel like these girls are lying? Pure survival? How is this dude? How did Diddy get a hold of the jury? Is what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? If Diddy didn't know who they were, they selected 12 people. Remember, it was like 40 something or all that, and it broke all the way down to 12 people. So if Diddy never knew who they was, they're monitoring all his phone calls in jail, pure survival. So how could he get a hold of the juror is what I want to know. You know what I'm talking about? Or did he just, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, like I said, they never said nothing about jury number 6 this whole entire trial. When Cassie was testifying, when all the Jane hoes been up there, they just decide to allegedly want to remove this juror soon as motherfucking this last Jane Ho is up there. 50 Cent baby mom, pure survival. Now they want to remove motherfuckers because they're seeing people's faces. If you're a human being and you seeing a woman sit up there and say, I was role playing with him, I loved him. Me and him were dressed in Halloween Chucky masks, motherfucking Freddy Krueger masks, and we would get buck ass naked. And I would tell the sex workers out of my mouth that, look, because they asked her on the stand, they said, so what did you used to say to the sex workers? She used to say, I want you to take advantage of me. Diddy's not home right now. I want you to put all your mayonnaise and relish all in my eyes. Shoot the mayonnaise and mustard all in my eyes. Bible. This is what the girl is saying. So any juror that find this girl to be a liar, they're going to say that Diddy paid for him. You know what I'm saying? I just can't believe anything because, and I said it on my show earlier today, we know Diddy is a monster. You know what I'm saying? We know that he allegedly had something to do with Biggie. We know he allegedly had something to do with Kim Porter. We know he allegedly had something to do with Tupac. People that we love. So we just want the man to go down. Point blank. We know he's terrible. But I can't sit here and praise these females that's up here willing participants, pure survival, because they are going to ruin us from getting justice for the people I just named. They keep getting caught in lies. Why would you go to court and testify and at the cross-examination say, do you still love Diddy? She said, I still love him. So then what are you doing up here? Why did they even call that girl? Pure survival. She is ruining the case to me. Now she's getting jurors kicked the hell out. Because even when the jurors make a certain face, it's like, God damn, this bitch lying like a motherfucker. Now they're like, get him out. They work for Diddy. Like, because of your own common sense?
Yeah, it does seem like it's kind of all pertaining to the same issue. So it kind of first started yesterday, and that's when the judge had ordered kind of the lead counsel on both sides, with the prosecution and the defense, to kind of have a conversation with him inside the judge's chamber. But what was interesting is that this particular conversation wasn't even in the transcripts. It was under seal, and we learned a little bit more, not the full answer as to what they were talking about. The government is still going to be submitting a response. But from what I understand just about the conversation, there is a possible issue with juror number 6. Now, as far as what the issue
You see that? It's a possible issue with juror number 6. Now, if I say put a 1 in the chat if y'all think Diddy paid juror number 6, a whole bunch of people gonna put 1 because we can't stand Diddy Glover. Pure survival. But if you think in your mind, they're monitoring his phone calls, they're doing all of this, how can Diddy get close to the jurors if he didn't even know who they were going to be? Pure survival. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you right now, I think that this whole trial is definitely, it's a circus. It is a circus during survival. That's all I gotta say. I don't know how this shit gonna turn out in the end, but everybody better be prepared, whether it's guilty, not guilty, mistrial. We better be open for whatever it could possibly turn out to be. We can't just be in one direction because we don't know what these people doing. Pure survival. I feel like they blinding all of us.
Kind of first started yesterday, and that's when the judge had ordered kind of the lead counsel on both sides, with the prosecution and the defense, to kind of have a conversation with him inside the judge's chamber. But what was interesting is that this particular conversation wasn't even in the transcripts. It was under seal, and we learned a little bit more, not the full answer as to what they were talking about. The government is still going to be submitting a response. But from what I understand just about the conversation, there is a possible issue with juror number 6. Now, as far as what the issue may be, it's not very clear, but what I will say is even yesterday and even today, we've seen every single one of the jurors, including the alternates, being inside the jury box, still listening to the testimony. So it's unclear kind of what the hiccup is, but I feel like by at least tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, because court is starting a little bit later tomorrow, that we should.
So court is starting later tomorrow due to this situation. She's saying she don't really know why this is happening. And the only reason why I'm saying allegedly, they're saying that they're leaning towards Diddy Glover allegedly paid the juror off, because I heard somebody else on a channel, which I'm not surprised this individual's going to push the narrative that Diddy somehow paid this juror off. Pure survival. And other people know who this channel is, because if you go on there, you're going to see them pushing the narrative. They're going to be acting like, oh, I'm not saying that Diddy paid them off, but they're pushing the Diddy paid them off narrative. That's the reason why I'm saying this right now. The people even in the courtroom, they didn't say that this Diddy paid the juror off yet. But there's a narrative that's out there that I'm watching somebody spin, pure survival, even before it comes out. So I'm letting y'all know before it come out, I don't know if Diddy was able to get to a juror right away like that. I don't know. I think he'll get caught. Ain't his phone conversations being recorded? Pure survival. So how is he able to do this shit? They think Diddy can do everything. That Diddy know magic, pure survival. Diddy can fly in the air like a bird and start molesting the shit out of birds and bees and shit. Pure survival. If a bee came out and testified against Diddy and said, "Bzz, Diddy took my virginity. Bzz, bzz, Diddy took advantage of me. Bzz, he wanted all my motherfucking honey. Bzz." Everybody gonna say Diddy took advantage of the bumblebee. I'm telling you, this shit is crazy, y'all. Smash that like button.
Question from Ann. Is it true about a juror being asked to leave? If so, did it cause a delay in the court? And then Show and Tell Knitting asks, what's the issue with juror number 6? So they're kind of related questions. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it does seem like it's kind of all pertaining to the same issue. So it kind of first started yesterday, and that's when the judge had ordered kind of the lead counsel on both sides, with the prosecution and the defense, to kind of have a conversation with him inside the judge's chamber. But what was interesting is that this particular conversation wasn't even in the transcripts. It was under seal, and we learned a little bit more, not the full answer as to what they were talking about. The government is still going to be submitting a response. But from what I understand just about the conversation, there is a possible issue with juror number 6. Now, as far as what the issue may be, it's not very clear. But what I will say is even yesterday and even today, we've seen every single one of the jurors, including the alternates, being inside the jury box, still listening to the testimony. So it's unclear kind of what the hiccup is, but I feel like by at least tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, because court is starting a little bit later tomorrow, that we should learn a little bit more and at least learn what the government's response is to this. But as far as we know right now, everything is kept under wraps, tight-lipped, and under seal, unfortunately.
So no one's being kicked out of the court today?
Nope, not from what...
So now she's saying no one is being kicked out the courtroom today. They're going to deal with this situation, this matter, tomorrow. So like I said, I expect everybody to say, put a 1 in the chat if y'all think Diddy paid the juror off. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all think Diddy didn't. I'm expecting to see more 1s, only because, like I said, the anger that we really have for Diddy. You know what I'm saying? God late this. We got a 2 in the building. You know what I'm saying? The lounge got a whole bunch of 1s. That's another one. Seeker of the truth got 1s in there. God damn it. Look, all of y'all think Diddy somehow got to the juror and paid him off. Feels a Bible. So look, this is what I want to know. If 4 jurors say that these people are lying, are y'all going to think Diddy paid all 4 of the jurors? Just this one dude. How many? Put a 1 in the chat. If 5 people say Diddy's not guilty, y'all gonna think that Diddy pay all 5 of them, or put a 2 in the chat if y'all gonna think that no, they're just going off the fact that these people coming up there looking like liars. You know what I'm saying? Or do y'all gonna think that Diddy paid the whole goddamn he paid the whole courthouse off? That's the funny part to me. Like, if they say Diddy not guilty, y'all gonna think he paid the whole entire juror off. Like, motherfuckers gonna be like, Diddy paid everybody. Everybody was paid. This shit is funny as hell. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Listen, no, I'm not no damn Diddy baby. No, you must be somebody that didn't never watch me before. I've made fun of Diddy for years now. Years and years and years. Okay? I'm just saying that these alleged victims are not victims, is all I'm saying. And all I'm saying is, I don't know how he got to the juror. Can't I be somebody that's just like, how in the hell did he pay? How did he get the juror to lie for him? When I remember when they took his phone privileges and all this stuff like that, I am in shock. I'm in shock to know that Diddy got that kind of pull, pure survival, that he was able to reach one of the people in the juror, you know what I mean, to make them say, hey, he's not guilty, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? How did Diddy do that? You know what I mean? I know all the demonic things that he was able to do on the street. I know the power that he can have in jail, having money, having people watch his motherfucker draws and shit, because people ain't got no money in there and he got money. I understand that. But the logic of how did he reach the juror? Can somebody put in the chat? Tell me, how could Diddy reach the juror with his phone being tapped and will record it and all of that? Somebody help me out. Is it somebody on the street? Maybe y'all can help me out. Maybe Diddy got somebody working for him on the street. I just don't need nobody to think, oh my God, Jamil's a Diddy supporter. Hell no. That means you ain't been watching me. I've came for Diddy for so long, up until I started to hear these damn testimonies with these people. And I'm like, damn, how much was a victim of you when you was buck ass naked doing all of this freaky deaky shit? And then talking about you love the man. Why would you love somebody that dog you out? I don't even understand that. Not let alone put their hands on you. I never understood that. Why would a female, why would you even love a man that dog you out? I never understood how females got beat up and kept going back to the man. And I ain't see nobody being sympathetic to them. They will always just say, oh, the bitch stupid. Keep going back to the same dude. Even dudes that been beat up by females and went back. Trust me, I know. But the Jane Doe's testimony, do y'all hear the shit that she's admitting to doing with Diddy and that she agreed to do? Smash that like button, y'all.
Of Jane, alleged victim number 2 in this case, arguably the second most important witness in this trial. And remember, she had testified to having this relationship with Sean Combs, to essentially having to perform sex acts with other men in front of Combs, even after she claimed she threw up at one time, even after she said she was exhausted. She testified about...
Do you see that? Cross-examination said you still had sex with Diddy and 20 other motherfuckers after you threw up. The girl said she ate so many wieners that she had vomited during survival. She ate so many wieners that she had to vomit during survival. She had a wiener breakfast, a wiener lunch, a wiener dinner, and a wiener and somebody's tasty cakes for dessert. Pure survival. But she still kept freaking off with this man after he allegedly forced her to do this. Pure survival. So make me understand.
Who's winning, who's losing, what can we expect? And again, I say this every day, but I think each day is pivotal testimony in this racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution case. Before I even bring on my panel, and also we're going to be waiting for Law and Crime's in-court reporter Elizabeth Milner to come out and talk to us a little bit more, this is the continued testimony of Jane, alleged victim number 2 in this case, arguably the second most important witness in this trial. And remember, she had testified to having this relationship with Sean Combs, to essentially having to perform sex acts with other men in front of Combs, even after she claimed she threw up at one time, even after she said she was exhausted. She testified about violence. She testified about feeling the trauma after Cassandra Ventura's lawsuit came out, reading what Cassie had alleged and saying it was basically what she had been going through.
And do y'all remember that girl said that? 50 Cent baby mom says she was getting her cheeks clapped by Diddy the day that Cassie's lawsuit came out. And she read it and said, oh my God, I'm doing the same nasty shit. Pure survival. I am the new Cassie. So she read the lawsuit and knew that she was Diddy Glover's freak off replacement for Cassie during survival, and she still continued to freak off with him till the very last day he came to turn himself in. Pure survival. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that that's a victim. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that's a person that was willing and was down with the freaky get down. Pure survival. Tell me, after she knew there was a lawsuit, after she read it, and said, damn, I'm doing all of this stuff. Look at all the tools that's in the building. Pure survival. So people don't even feel like this girl is a victim. That's why I said now all of Vo Sutton, they want to kick a jury out because they hear what this girl is saying and they know that this girl don't sound like no goddamn victim. Pure survival. She was getting $40,000 a month from 50 Cent until 50 realized how much of a hoe she was. Pure survival. And he started giving her $7,000 and something dollars a month. So she said, look, I'm going to go with Diddy Glover and I'm going to fulfill Diddy's freak off fantasies. You know what I'm saying? To the fifth power, because I want to do that so I can live lavish. What about the hardworking women? I just told y'all on my live earlier. Shout out to the hardworking woman that's at work right now watching me. Pure survival. Are you freaking off? Are you going to have sex with a dozen motherfuckers to satisfy somebody? Why ain't you getting $10,000 a month? No, because you doing the right thing. Pure survival. You're not selling your soul for a freak off jelly roll. Pure survival. That's why we got to get rid of these jurors, because this girl sound crazy. Why didn't they get rid of the juror when Cassie was up there? or the girl that said that she got dangled from a freak off balcony. They should have started getting rid of motherfuckers then when they found out that that girl was lying. She said she got dangled a day that Diddy was at a whole nother freak off, oiled from head to toe. She said he vanilla iced her and he was somewhere getting his cheeks clapped at a total different location. Why didn't they remove the juror then? You know what I'm saying? The reason why is because this case is not looking good, y'all. We know that Diddy's terrible. I'm not denying that. I want Diddy to do some motherfucking time too. Pills of Bible. But for sex trafficking is what they got to prove. And if all you proven is that these girls wanted to fuck, they wanted to suck, they wanted to be urinated on, pills of Bible. That doesn't look good. And they wanted to be peed on for money. So is that what I should do? I want $10,000 a month. Somebody pee on me now. Pills of Bible. Pee on me if you want to. I'm going to take you to court and say you forced me to let you pee on me. Pills of Bible.
Testimony of Jane, alleged victim number 2 in this case, arguably the second most important witness in this trial. And remember, she had testified to having this relationship with Sean Combs, to essentially having to perform sex acts with other men in front of Combs, even after she claimed she threw up at one time, even after she said she was exhausted. She testified about violence. She testified about feeling the trauma after Cassandra Ventura's lawsuit came out, reading what Cassie had alleged and saying it was basically what she had been going through. But there were openings in her testimony for the defense to exploit. And today is the first day of cross-examination of Jane by the defense. And there's certain
cross-examination. Do y'all know what that means? We feel bad for the person at first. Then we hear what Diddy Glover's lawyers cross-examine the person. Listen to what the girl said and tell me you feel like that she was a victim.
Trying to do that. Some of the highlights so far from cross-examination is they've been focusing on her immunity that she was given during the grand jury proceedings, that she has participated in this trial, that she prepped for cross-examination. They focused on the love that she shared between her and Combs. What they are trying to emphasize is her active, willing participation.
Her active, willing participation. Everybody smash that like button. Active, willing participation. We got to get rid of the jury right now. Pure survival. You know what I'm saying? Only because this trial is going crazy, all because of this goddamn girl. 50 Cent baby mom, pure survival. I'm not going to keep saying Jane motherfucker Doe. If I call her Jane Doe, I'm going to call her Jane Ho, pure survival. You know what I'm talking about? She messing up the whole trial. Even the girl that says she got dangled from a motherfucking balcony, she didn't do this bad to where they're saying, damn, we got to get rid of the motherfucking jury. The jury heard too much of this goddamn shit. This is a circus. Diddy Glover's trial is a circus. Let's be honest. We all thought that we was going to hit a home run the first day Diddy's trial. I said, yes, they're going to send him to the moon like that white boy that was on a bike with E.T. They're going to pull out the tapes, the sick shit. They're going to have Oprah Winfrey in the dog chain. Justin Bieber standing in the motherfucking corner. Talking about no more time. I'm going to tell you no time. I'm waiting for the freak off tapes with the celebrities. With Ja Rule backing it up on Diddy. Where are those tapes that they said that they had? Pearls of Bible. I talked about it for 2 years straight. Where's the tape where Diddy and Jamie Foxx is having a secret love affair on camera? Where's the tape where Jay-Z and Jay-Z's weird ass hairstyle, Pearls of Bible, getting his back blown out by Diddy or blowing Diddy's back out and Beyonce sitting in the corner recording Pearls of Bible? Talking about drunk in love, baby, tonight. Whoa. Where are those tapes at? And they ain't came out yet, Pills of Bible. Where are the minors? Since none of this came out, this is all Diddy's ex-girlfriends that was on a payroll that were all crackheads. Diddy was a crackhead. Pills of Bible. Diddy was a crack addict. All of them.
for cross-examination. They focused on the love that she shared between her and Combs. What they are trying to emphasize is her active, willing participation, really, in these sex acts, which is important for a sex trafficking case. If they're alleging that Sean Combs used force, fraud, or coercion to induce her into these sexual episodes with male sex workers, the more they can say she was a willing participant, that's what's going to work for them. So
You hear that? The more they can prove that she was a willing participant, that's what's working for the defense. The more they keep proving that. And now we're getting rid of the jury now. Now they think I think they said, juror number 6, we caught you in the parking lot listening to Diddy Glover's music. Pure Bible. You was in your car, Diddy bopping on your way to the goddamn courthouse, and we caught you listening to Diddy Glover. Because you know that's another thing, that this individual that's pushing the narrative that Diddy paid this juror was trying to lean towards saying that the juror number 6 wasn't following the rules. You know how when you the jury and they say, look, you can't go home, you can't talk to your wife about the trial, pure Bible, you can't use baby oil no more, you can't do none of that shit when you on the Diddy Glover's freak off trial. You got to do this thing as she is a motherfucker. The person was pushing the narrative that juror number 6 is doing everything that they're not supposed to do. Like juror number 6 is watching social media. You remember they said that you can't watch social media. They're saying juror number 6 is dancing and Diddy bopping to Diddy Glover's music. You know what I'm talking about? They're saying that the motherfucker, they got a Instagram post allegedly with juror number 6 wearing a Sean John shirt. Wearing the Sean John shirt. Pure Bible. If that was the case, why would they let that juror become a juror if you knew that this man was wearing a Sean John freak off shirt? Pure Bible. I feel like all of this stuff is being created right in front of our face. Right in front of our eyes. This shit is happening, y'all. I'm telling you, man.
Active, willing participation, really, in these sex acts, which is important for a sex trafficking case. If they're alleging that Sean Combs used force, fraud, or coercion to induce her into these sexual episodes with male sex workers, the more they can say she was a willing participant, that's what's going to work for them. So they've focused on, she knew she was being recorded, that she put on a show, that she was trying to look sexy, that she wanted to cuddle with Sean Combs. These audio...
Now you see that? She knew. I found out that today in cross-examination that 50 Cent baby mom knew that Diddy Glover was recording her. So not only is you making me have sex at a Million Man March with a million different men while you stand in the corner and choke your Roku remote, pure Bible, I'm allowing you to record it. And then Jane Ho was in the they found out Jane Ho was saying that I look beautiful and like trying to look beautiful and saying that she felt beautiful as these men was power driving the shit out of her tasty cakes. Pure Bible. She up there talking about, I used to have a fat ass before I met Diddy. Now I've been pounded out so much, her butt cheeks look like a damn pancake. Pure Bible. She's saying that they done pounded her out till her butt turned into a pancake. Her butt turned into a pancake. You know what I mean? And I think you allowed yourself to have a pancake booty. Pure Bible. She said now all her farts are quiet now. She used to have loud farts. Now Diddy, they done pounded her out in every hole in the back of her tasty cakes that her farts are all silent. Pure Bible. She said they still stink, but they all silent. Because they done knocked the rear end off that girl.
Focused on the love that she shared between her and Combs. What they are trying to emphasize is her active, willing participation, really, in these sex acts, which is important for a sex trafficking case. If they're alleging that Sean Combs used force, fraud, or coercion to induce her into these sexual episodes with male sex workers, the more they can say she was a willing participant, that's what's going to work for them. So they've focused on, she knew she was being recorded, that she put on a show, that she was trying to look sexy, that she wanted to cuddle with Sean Combs. These audio messages of the two have been played for the jury today. One where she apparently says, everything just feels good and I'm so happy. They will also seem to emphasize...
Did y'all hear that? Everything feels so good, and I'm just so happy during survival. This is what our victim, our alleged victim, that's supposed to be one of the top victims in this case, Cassie and her. She's saying that she felt so good in the freak offs. So how you get mad at the jury if the jury sit there and say, damn, the girl is saying she felt so good. Where is she a victim at? This doesn't mean that Diddy's not a bad person. Diddy is terrible. But we are talking about her. We're talking about this girl who's getting her rent paid by Diddy as we speak. As I'm talking to y'all right now, Diddy's still paying this girl bills. And she in there talking about it felt so good in the freak off. To be humiliated, to be demasculated, to be fucking, a human toilet she was. And she said they got messages in the cross-examination today with her saying it felt so good. Come on, y'all. Like, I'm talking about you can give me, I can go to a barber that I've never been to, and he fucked my headline up, pure survival. Trust and believe me, it'll be the last time I sit in that motherfucker's chair, pure survival. I'm not gonna keep going to the same barber that keeps backing my headline up during survival, giving me the Stanford and Son. I'm not gonna go to a motherfucker that backed my headline up, my headline all the way back here. Now I look like the black RoboCop, pure survival. I'm not going to that barber no more. So why she kept going back to Diddy Glover, knowing he gave her the pancake ass? This is crazy.
That Sean Combs used force, fraud, or coercion to induce her into these sexual episodes with male sex workers. The more they can say she was a willing participant, that's what's going to work for them. So they've focused on she knew she was being recorded, that she put on a show, that she was trying to look sexy, that she wanted to cuddle with Sean Combs. These audio messages of the two have been played for the jury today. One where she apparently says, everything just feels good and I'm so happy. They also seem to emphasize whether or not Sean Combs was really threatening to withhold rent. Remember, financial control is a key element of sex trafficking, force, fraud, coercion. Was he actually trying to withhold rent? But also maybe highlighting his drug use and being high as a way to explain away his behavior. And
Told you, see now, and that's another thing Diddy's lawyers is using. The fact that the man was a crack fiend, pure survival. He's our first billionaire crackhead. Matter of fact, Diddy probably ain't the first billionaire crackhead, pure survival. It's a whole bunch of these people that's drug addicts and stuff like that. We don't know that they doing drugs like hell, but they are because they got the money. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if you a crackhead and you got unlimited money, pure survival? You done been OD'd 500 times and came back from dead, pure survival. Motherfuckers sitting there looking like they could have been in Michael Jackson Thriller video. So, like, I'm just saying the man was a crack addict, so they're trying to say, well, Diddy was talking all crazy and stuff like that because the man was on drugs. All of them was on drugs. How we gonna believe a crackhead? I don't believe Diddy. I don't believe none of the girls because they all was crackheads. Pure survival. Whole bunch of junkies. We are surviving Diddy Glover's freak off junkie trial. This is a freak off junkie trial. Gonna find out all these motherfuckers is junkies. They're horny. They're nasty. Breath smell like dingling salad and vagina sandwiches. This shit is crazy.
Happy. They will also seem to emphasize whether or not Sean Combs was really threatening to withhold rent. Remember, financial control is a key element of sex trafficking, force, fraud, coercion. Was he actually trying to withhold rent? But also maybe highlighting his drug use and being high as a way to explain away his behavior and actions, that it's not necessarily the actions of a sex trafficker or abuser, but something else. And then they seem to be focusing a lot on jealousy. Remember, the defense has been saying you might be seeing things about Sean Combs, violence of Sean Combs, but this is domestic violence. This is not sex trafficking. This is more about love, jealousy, anger. And we'll highlight a little bit.
Y'all hear that? Domestic violence, love, drama, anger, drugs, violence. You know what I'm saying? Why can't they just come out and give this man these charges? Because like I told y'all in my first live, I seen aggravated assault. I've seen assault. I've seen all of these different things with Diddy Glover. The thing that's just getting us is the fact that they put the Rico, the John Gotti type of shit, pure survival. You know what I'm saying? And my only thing is, I just don't feel like the girls was forced. I feel like they wanted to live that lifestyle, and this is what it cost. It cost. If any one of y'all on this live can go out and be a whore and get $10,000 a month, are y'all gonna go do it? Put a one in the chat if y'all gonna go do it. Put a two in the chat if y'all not. Watch all the twos come up. Pure survival. Because you're gonna have motherfuckers that's not gonna admit that they probably would do the same damn thing. I just you're not gonna give me no victim if you chose to do this. Diddy is horrible. Hands down. Hands down, the most worst CEO. I knew Diddy was horrible back in the day, back in the 90s, pure survival. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should have charged Diddy Glover, I'm sorry, with murder a long time ago. Allegedly, but there's too many people that done died that stood next to you, sir. Pure survival. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never going to think that Diddy deserves to be free or deserve none of that. I'm just calling out what I'm seeing because it just blew my mind. Listen, I'm thinking when they gave him sex trafficking, I'm thinking that it was some girls that was abducted, thrown inside of a truck, put a tennis ball in their mouth or something, gagged them, and then was selling them all over the country. That's what sex trafficking was to me, pure survival. It never was, all right, you my girlfriend, you doing all this nasty ass shit that's fulfilling my sexual desire, and then I break up with you, or we break up, and then now you can say I forced you to do that shit, and then you got ID, and you a grown motherfucker. That's the only part that fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, ladies on here and men, let's say you could go back to the person that broke your heart and you can say that person, that man did all these things to you. And you know damn well that didn't happen. And you know damn well you stayed with him, even when that was happening. Or guys, you can go back and say, yeah, every girl that you used to be with, because you know we done had some crazy past relationships, and say bad things about them. And say they done she forced me to sell my soul for a jelly roll. Do you know the times that she wanted me to go out watch a movie with her? I didn't want to fucking go. She forced me to go. I don't like the ballet. She forced me to go watch motherfuckers do the ballet and all. I thought that was a sacrifice in a relationship when you do some shit that you know damn well you don't like, but you doing it for your partner. I just thought that was a choice. No, I'm not going to go watch the goddamn ballet. You better go get with another nigga. That's the first thing. And females know that shit. But dude try something too freaky with you. First thing you gonna say is, you better go get you another bitch for that. I'm not. Or you might say, go get a white girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, but all I'm saying is, you gonna say, you better go get somebody else for that. Because I ain't that bitch. I ain't that bitch. But these girls didn't say that. They said, no, let's do it. Just pay my rent, buy me a nice fancy house. You know what I mean? I want the latest whips. I want to travel all over. That's all I'm saying to y'all. Pure survival.